Okay, meeting will come to order, or the canvassing will come to order.
This is running a zero totals report for everybody. Just they're double checking that as it gets rolled up. I've asked two other members of there's 3 total from the accounting board, and if Brett would like to explain what he was told from the Secretary of State's office regarding the one-off vote for Ward 1.
So the question yesterday was, once an election is certified by the Board of Canvassers, can it then be decertified? The answer to that is no. Board of Canvassers is a creature of statute. Once you adjourn, it's done. At that point, the only recourse for a candidate would be to contest the election. As far as canvassing certain ballot items versus others, again, once you adjourn, you're done. So you can't pick and choose. You essentially need to canvass the entire election at one time, and that's what the Secretary of State's office advised yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So, I don't know if you guys, you 3 want to come up here and look at this ballot. Jennifer, Rochelle, and Roberta. This is the one for Ward 1 that they kind of questioned, and you can see it's lighter on those 2 races, which is the ones that they were counting more for than what the machine counted for. I spoke to ES&S yesterday. They said that it's called a marginal vote or a marginal mark. The more you handle it, the more it goes through the machine, the darker it's going to get. So the more they handled it, it didn't count it initially, but chances are that it counted it later because it got darker with handling and processing. So.
What we identified that day, that was probably the issue.
Right.
The Friday, we identified that could have potentially could have been the issue for that.
So other than that, there was no issues with the count? The count matched the machines besides?
Besides these 2 votes, yes, that is correct.
And you were all in agreement with that?
Yes. Friday, when we left, we were, yes.
We did have some that we were initially off, and then we'd recount them. We had two groups of 3. We'd recount them, and then, but every single race otherwise we came out the same as the machine.
Okay.
Except for those 2.
Okay.
So this one counts in the machine now, you're saying?
Yes. Those 2 votes counted. All the other votes counted, but those 2 are now counting when, just like it did that day when I reran it to see if that was our problem. And it counted them. That's why we didn't think it was a problem. But that's the only ballot after going through them that I can see that would potentially be an issue. And that was the one that you guys initially.
It'd be one ballot with 2 different votes on that ballot, correct? 2 people on the ballot.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want to look at the ballot, like you can tell it's quite a bit. It looks like they tried to erase it.
I thought
Yeah.
the machine kept its same
Huh.
count.
We didn't run them all through the machine. We started to.
Okay.
we started
Actually, there's that
Yeah.
one too, but
We ran 2
To
of
run
those.
those questionable ballots through.
So yesterday,
Bingo blotter.
yeah.
yesterday I had Mary Ann run all the ones for Ward 1 through the machine, and it matched what they hand counted, which would have been 1 more for governor and U.S. Senate.
Yes.
Yep.
U.S. representative, yeah.
It was
So-
representative and governor.
Yep, U.S. representative should have been 276 is what you guys hand counted, and that's what we got yesterday. And Derek Schmidt should have got 258, which is what it came up with yesterday, out of
Okay.
all of Ward 1.
Well, these look like they've been marked and then, I don't know, erased?
Erased or
Yeah.
not marked real heavy
Well,
or?
the pen wasn't working. I mean, there's several, we determined
Yeah.
several things. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
The rest of it is ink,
The rest of them on the ballot were dark.
and it looked like a new pen that didn't start working.
Even with that though, with the intent of the voter, technically those could be darkened, correct, or not?
No, we don't touch their ballots.
Okay.
But we can change, I mean, it's picking it up now,
Yeah.
so it's counting it.
Okay.
We're okay now. Yes.
They're gonna be talking.
Okay.
So as it stands right now, the count matches the machine.
Or the machine matches the count, either one.
Yes.
Either way you want to look at it.
Yes.
Okay.
So then we should be good to go. Might just grab the whole thing.
Yeah.
So is this the page from the auditing day
Yes.
where the vote was one off?
Yes.
Okay, so I thought when we ran the questionable ballots through, that the machine counted them as it had originally.
No, it counted it because, excuse me, we were trying to narrow down the ones that, the one out of the 25, remember you did stacks of 25, that it didn't count. And it counted all 25 votes when we processed those. And so we thought, oh, well, it isn't that ballot then. But it did count it, which it did yesterday when Mary Ann did also.
Which means that we didn't ever resolve where the difference was then.
This,
Right.
Sure.
But if it counted it and we counted it, then there was no difference.
The difference was, before it wasn't counting this, so you guys had one extra vote.
How do we know that? How do we know that?
We don't.
We don't know what the machine counted and what it didn't.
You ran 25, a pile of 25 through the machine, and the machine counted all 25 votes, or counted the votes on those 25,
yes.
you know. And before, it did not count it?
So and what we did was we broke the stack into piles of 25.
Right.
We did not put necessarily questionable ones in any particular pile. We just gave Ashley, we were gonna run every single one of them through as stacks of 25 to see which stack had the wrong, or had one that was questionable. So we started that process of running those 25 through, which is a long process. Was, you know, you have to hand feed that machine one at a time.
Individuals.
So we did not get through all 258 or 276,
318.
yeah, however many ballots. We did not get through all the ballots to see which one. We decided that it was one ballot off. That one race, Tracy Mann, he was the only one on the ballot. So that race was not going to be the deciding factor with one vote. So we decided to move on. We actually did several races after those two, and then went back to them and recounted them again. We kept getting the same number, so we just left it. But we never did run all of the ballots through the machine again. We just did probably, what, 100? Or maybe
125.
75, did 25 at a time. So, and the stacks that we did were coming out at the same count we did, so we didn't resubmit all of them through the machine at that time.
So out of all the counting you did that day, the only problem you ran into was a difference of one
On 2 races,
on 2 races.
yes.
Okay.
Which if
One
this-
race was uncontested, and the other
Yes.
was a large margin of,
Yes,
Which if this is the problem ballot, would make sense why they matched, why when they moved on, they matched on all the other ones, because these are all darker, right? Jerry Moran's vote, all these are darker. These two are just lighter. Does that make sense?
yes.
Because if it's too light, the machine's not gonna read it.
Right.
But the question of, even though the one vote doesn't change the uncontested race, the question is unresolved of why the hand count did not match the machine.
So what do you want to do?
But when we left here at 5:30 on Friday, we all asked, are you okay with this vote? We all agreed that we agreed
That the
to,
vote was
to
good.
discontinue the counting. We all agreed that, and we all raised our hand to say we feel that this vote with Tracy Mann would not make a difference in our local election.
That is correct. That race was not. But what I'm saying is, we didn't complete the hand count. So there are other races that may need attention. I said yesterday, other races may need counting.
But we
I
didn't
was-
determine that on Friday.
Well, I asked, so I should have looked at the numbers. I did ask if there were any other close races, because we did, when we stopped going through the ballots race by race, we did do the commissioner's race. We counted it by hand because it was so close and we knew it was close. And I asked if there were any other close races that we needed to look at. Nobody at that time could remember any, but we should have looked at the numbers to see if there were some, because I think there are some. And so that's what we did. That is what we did.
Right. We all agreed Friday at 5:30. We were done.
Pending, there were no other
No, there
close
wasn't- there wasn't
races.
pending. We
Well, it was
decided
I guess it was a question on the
Yeah.
board that wasn't answered, so.
It was not asked.
Yes,
There was no question asked if at 5:30, at 5:30, I felt like everybody was in agreement that we had met our satisfaction of, we felt like the machine was accurately counting. And if we didn't have the machine to to double check what we had, we would have counted each race probably twice and then moved on. So who knows what we would have even got in each race if we didn't have something as a benchmark to compare to. So we had several times where we would come off, like our groups of 3, we would be off 1 or whatever, and we would recount. Human error is always going to happen. So I'm so thankful that we had something to actually, bounce off when we got done doing our voting, so that we knew. But at 5:30, there were 6 of us, and we all agreed. No one said anything about, should we look at these other races, or any questions, or we would have stayed. So.
no, I did ask several times, are there any other close races that we need to look at?
And were there close races? What are you calling as close? The commissioner race was a close race.
Well, it was
And
one
Tracy
vote off.
Mann, the commissioner race was not a one off, was it? It was spot on.
No,
She's saying within one vote of each
the
other.
results,
Do we have any other races that were that close on the results?
we had, I think there may be, I haven't looked at the paper. I need to look at the results. But I do believe that there is at least one other race that was within a few votes, and that's what I was asking. Are these all, this is just Ward 1, right?
Is this just Ward 1?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, within a few votes, I guess if the only thing you could find is a 1 vote difference and the other races are within a few votes, I don't see the point in going back to count, because it's pretty apparent the machine is not off a few votes. It was off 1.
In those instances that we checked.
And to Rochelle's point, if we didn't have a machine for the benchmark, who knows how accurate you guys would be in your count?
The human error factor comes in as you go along throughout the day.
Sure.
So our day was from 9 to 5:30. If we would have started this election counting at 7 o'clock until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the human error would have been a lot more.
Yes, I agree.
And we wouldn't have had we would not have had a computer to balance it by.
Yep.
And you would have had to have a second crew probably to take over. If you want to do 100% canvas of all the ballots.
We wouldn't have been done by 2.
No,
No.
no. I mean, we had 2, 3, and 4 left to go.
We had all of them. The only Republicans we got done were
Ward 1.
1-1. So.
there are 3 precinct races within several votes of each other. And so if those,
2 within 2 votes.
mhm.
In local
So-
precincts.
Yes.
So there were no national races, those 3 precinct races are within a couple votes, or within a few votes.
I guess that's why I bring it to your guys' attention, like if you're gonna, like Brett said, if you're gonna certify this, we're gonna do provisionals, that means no more counting, so either we count more, if you're not happy with what they're saying, or you certify today, right?
Correct. And then if any of the candidates, as Roberta's pointing out, that are within a couple of votes want to contest the election at that point, then that's their prerogative. But it's up to the 3 of you whether or not you want the count to continue or if you want to proceed with the candidates.
Well, as I said yesterday, I don't feel it's fair to our commission race to not tell them today. And I don't think that the machine, I think it's proven the machine is pretty accurate. So far as I'm concerned, I'm for certifying today. And like say, if there's somebody that's in a close race wants to contest it, they can contest it and do the count on that. But other than that, I say we certify the election today and move forward.
I agree with that, if there's something that the candidates wish to contest, they have that right, and they could go ahead and do that. The machine has been accurate for us, so.
Okay. Here's the provisionals. On the white tag, you'll see provisional and then the reasons why. Some people have more than one. I've highlighted on your worksheet.
Address changes,
Address
marriage change.
Yep.
Yep.
And then whether they should count or not. Per our review, I don't know, I did not see any that should not count. So if you guys want to look at them, somebody open
Set them in the middle, if you would.
And then, Larry, since you're sitting here, can you verify there's 0?
Yes,
Address
I can.
change.
And then that there's
Okay.
0 down here.
You want to open them?
Okay.
Okay, Ashley, what do we need to,
If you're
Pull those
going
together.
to count it, keep everything on it. So that's just proving that they were already registered.
okay.
Keep everything all together. Open the ballot at the top and slide it out and keep them separate.
Address change. Name change.
Change of address.
Where are you putting the stack that's open?
I just kept my,
Okay.
right there.
Get one more. Address.
Address change.
Address.
Address change.
Another address change.
I'm sneaking that arrow.
Yep.
Name change. Got married.
Address change.
Same here.
Address change.
Ward 1. Address change.
Another address change.
Name change. Got married.
Address change.
Address change. Address change.
This is an address change. There.
Name change.
Address change.
Oops, hang on, there's 2 there. Address change.
Address change.
Address and name change.
Name change.
Another address change.
Address change.
Address.
Address change.
Other. Other.
Okay, this is a voter change party in 2021, and it was missed when entering the voter registration. But
It changed in 2021, so they changed within the time parameter.
Yeah, so she changed on her voter registration, and it was missed when we updated her voter registration, so she shouldn't be penalized for that. She should have voted the
Still.
Republican.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
She did
And you
it
can see her
within-
voter registration on the back. This is from 2021, and she did check that, so
Okay.
it just didn't get changed.
Okay.
And those ballots stick in there.
They do. This one does not have an
This must have been a mail-in. Ashley, was this a mail-in one, or what is the, this
So
doesn't
we
have
got
the.
several that don't have a sticker on it.
No,
Those are mail-in ones. Those are permanent advance. Those are people from Topside Manor, so they changed addresses
Okay.
Okay.
and didn't get their address changed in time.
Okay.
these need to be all the same direction?
Nope. And you guys can start feeding through the machine.
Hand me the rest of those. You have to wait till it. Okay.
Okay, when it kicks it back out,
Turn it over, try it again. Turn it over, try it again.
and do it again.
You filled in too many.
Too many ovals.
These votes will not count.
Okay, so they overvoted.
Yep.
So we don't have an option. We don't know how they would have changed their vote. If they were there election day or previously, they could have changed it, but we had to push cast.
Push just cast.
Yep.
Give me a pen, would you?
Thing's touchy.
Huh?
This thing's touchy as far as feeding them in.
Don't you wish you could do about 300 of these, Steve?
Pardon?
Don't you wish you could stand there and do about 300 of them?
Okay, Ashley, I've turned it over and run it again.
What's it saying?
Unreadable marks.
Okay, let's set that one to the side.
Pardon?
Let's just set that one to the side for a second.
Okay. Run it again, or-
I can see that's what it's picking
Okay.
up.
So, you can see they're marked both, a small dot on the one and a larger colored on the other.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that's what it's picking up. We can try it a couple more times to see. It might pick it up as an overvote, I'm not sure. Okay,
Unreadable marks, so. now-
so now we can get a new ballot like that style. You guys can mark it as you think the voter intended. Spoil this ballot and put that one through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's Ward 4, Commissioner 1, right?
Okay, 37.
Yep. Well, wait. If she gets, I mean, I think it's pretty apparent.
How's your heart doing? All that excitement?
Just dotted that.
Yeah, and then they
changed.
moved.
Like, whoop, I don't want that one.
Yeah.
That was the only one.
Looks to me like they touched their pen there and then went ahead and.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. There you go, Rod. So it looks like they just started to check a box and then moved and marked the other box in dark, and so it's picking up.
Picking up a dot.
Shouldn't a ballot like that just be discarded?
What race was that?
That would have been in the race for,
Jerry Moran, Joan Farr.
I would be really comfortable trying to decide how somebody else intended to vote.
wow,
I think it's fair, right, that anybody can assume what that person was trying to do.
Well, all the other races, they darkened all the ovals, and in that one, they did darken
it
one
looked like
oval in.
It's
the
pretty
person, the
clear.
voter, had his pen in hand, touched it on the one, and then went down to the next person and colored it in. So they touched their pen, didn't probably realize that they made a small mark there.
But that's why the machine is rejecting it,
Yes,
because
Yes.
it's picking that up.
it's picked up that there's two.
Have a go to microphone. I think, I was just concerned that anybody would be able to presume what that person intended to do. If it's pretty obvious that that's what happened, like you said, Steve, then, you know, that probably is okay. But I would be real uncomfortable trying to do what you guys are doing right now.
So the same goes for the counting board when they were here on Friday. They had to interpret the voter intent. If there was any kind of question, that was their job to look at the voter intent.
I get to run this
But how
one.
can you do that? I think those ballots, if there is any question at all or any,
Give me that other ballot.
I think those should be discarded. But I would like to see.
We don't make the rules.
Well, that's true. If that's a rule, that's,
This is where they touched, and this is where they colored it in completely.
okay. And it was just, and this, just in this particular race.
This is what the machine is saying,
Okay.
and that's the only one. Everything else is all
As well marked.
well marked.
Okay.
And that's why we're taking the intent that they, I know which one.
Intended for this
that-
candidate.
This candidate to
Right.
receive their vote.
Yeah. I will, by seeing that, I think I would agree with that.
Okay.
But I really. thought
Well,
you know,
it would be
yeah,
very tough.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
or I know the ones that they voted, no, that's not what I, and put an X on it and then go down and color.
Yeah.
Then you start going, okay,
Yeah.
who did they vote for? Or is that vote not valid?
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
38.
Yep.
38.
Close poll. Let it run its report.
I'm gonna put that one with the pot.
This is the one that didn't count.
No, that was just
Other than, okay.
one you didn't get on the pile.
Let's turn that over.
It's going to go for a little bit.
Nobody voted, it's all zeros. like waiting on a GPS on the end of the field to boot up for your tractor in it. Sit there and wait and wait and wait.
When you're up where I'm at, it don't happen.
What's that?
Where I'm at, it doesn't happen.
Really? Can't get GPS to work? How come?
None of Flanders' fields at the bottom on the creek work.
Really? I figured coming off a satellite that it would work. Huh. Did not know that.
Field you bought, it'll work there. You get down in the bottom on the creek.
How's that corn up there burned up?
I haven't been up that road for a while. Looked okay the last time I was up there.
There ain't much dryland corn around that's gonna make it though, I don't think. It's pretty much shot. Like waiting on water to boil, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Maybe we must not have any court proceedings if both the county attorney and the judge are here.
Yeah. We're just that important, Steve. They canceled everything for us. Probably the latter. What's that?
Now I know why ticker tape blades take so long. It takes a long time to turn the ticker.
Yeah. You got a lot of paper. I hope you got a lot of paper.
We're not even close. We're at Lannis now.
Huh?
We're only at Lannis Township now.
You getting close?
Smoky. State line, Union, Voltaire, Washington.
Okay. Good grief. This keeps getting worse. Are we about there? I roll that up. Nothing going on in court today.
Motion that.
Kind of figured nothing was going on to the judge.
Can't start without me.
Yeah. Or is it vice versa, which is?
Whichever one of us is saying it, I guess.
Both parties have to be present. We're about there. Yeah. That's an hour out of your life you can never have back. Judge said he's out of time. He left, Brett. Wheat just kind of just bounces around there. It goes up, goes down. It won't. Just won't. What's that? 806 right now at Schoolers. So 752. Soybeans are 1577. Did you get your pond done? How do you fill that? Just rainwater or?
Initial will be irrigation.
You got an irrigation well there? I didn't know that.
I got it close.
Huh?
I got one close.
Okay. Just gotta run pipe over and fill it. How big is it?
Quarter acre.
How much?
Quarter acre.
Oh, quarter acre.
About 400 and some thousand gallons, I suppose.
How big's the well?
300,
It won't take very long, 300 gallon a minute.
20, probably 2,400.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a project.
Doing it all with your little tractor?
I had a scraper for a while. When I got done with it, I sold it. That only worked for so long. Because you get too steep.
Yeah. Then you can raise fish in it, or?
Grandkids can come fish.
Is it a ways from your house?
Pretty close.
So I won't be able to sneak in at night and fish?
It's close.
Okay.
It's within shotgun range.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
Even at that, it's gonna probably be a couple of years before you get big enough fish to do anything.
Do what? Just, oh. Yeah. Why not?
There's this one with the breakdown if you wanted to see the early advanced day information.
Do you find the commissioner's race?
Hmm?
Find the commissioner's race yet?
Yep.
here we go. Where come in at?
Right down for commissioners for provisionally.
Oh,
How people voted.
okay.
What page is that on, Ashley?
This one is, I am making copies of
It's
this
a
right now.
different report.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
What's that? I just seen if everybody got the results, or we're supposed to announce. Sure, everybody's here for the commissioner race. Do you want to announce it?
What's that?
Do you want to announce the commissioner
Okay.
race?
On the commissioner race, first district, Harvey Swagger, 211 votes. Harlan House, 208. Tom Ridenour, 98. Congratulations, Harvey.
Congratulations. This is a lot of fun up here. You're going to enjoy this.
You guys can sign the bottom of this tape. Around the edge somewhere. You're
Just,
done.
okay.
That's it? Okay. I entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
Been moved, do I hear a second? Been moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.